It's another fan cast. It's another fan cast. It's a big, awesome, fun fan cast. But first, we've got 5 more options for what you guys want to see on the next episode of fan cast. That's right. What should be the next one? There's 5 random options here. They're different. So let me know down in the comments below. Vote which one of these you want to see next. Between the miraculous tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir, sure, the Croods, Teen Titans, Narnia, or Power Rangers. Let me know which one you guys want to see next, and let's get on with today's fancast. The Incredibles is just one of the best Pixar films. We can all agree on that, right? That's something we can all agree on together, collectively, as a group, right? It's one of the best Pixar films, okay? It's not my personal favourite, but it's close. And it is just excellent. This family of superheroes, just dealing with, you know, fairly run-of-the-mill thing, you know? for superheroes, it's a fairly run-of-the-mill adventure in a lot of ways, but they come together as a family, strong bonds as a family to beat whatever and stuff, you know? Anyway, so, basically, we're starting with Mr. Incredible, okay? And Mr. Incredible's really hard to cast. Craig T. Nelson did a great job with the voice, but you think about what you need like this kind of average Joe dad is what he comes off as a lot of the film, you know? He's a bit overweight, doesn't like his job, he's like painted as a really typical dad, you know, when he's not a superhero. But he is also a superhero, and he also has to come off with that kind of swagger of a superhero, you know? I'm good at, and it's hard. It's difficult for me, no matter who I picked. I was kind of like, there's like some aspect of the character I'm not entirely sure they're right for. I want to cast Josh Brolin. And that was difficult for me too, because I was kind of like, well, is he quite like, can he pull off like this kind of like dad bod, typical dad thing? And I think he actually can. I don't think he gets roles where there's a lot of comedy involved very often, but Bob's not exactly the most comedic character, you know? He's got some nice lines and stuff, but I'd describe him as being closer to, like, Cable than Deadpool, if you know what I mean, you know? He doesn't come out with these lots and lots of sarcastic, quippy lines. He's kind of more straight-faced in his comedic style a lot of the time. And I think Josh Brolin played that really well, that kind of epic aspect, the swaggering aspect, and also the dad aspect. I don't know if I've seen him as a dad before, but he's of the right age. He could easily do it. I don't see why not. It's just not the kind of role he gets cast in, but I think he can do it, you know? I'm much more confident about Elastigirl. Oh boy, okay. Now, Elastigirl, such an iconic character from the film, okay? Maybe the most iconic, and she was so good in Incredibles 2. Just great in every... Just great, okay? Hot. Definitely hot. Yeah. I want to cast Linda Cardellini, okay? Yes. Yes, I do. Why? Because whereas Josh Brolin, I'm not entirely sure if he's ever even played a dad before. He probably has, I just haven't seen it. Linda Cardellini is like a master of playing mothers. She's played mothers for I feel like she's been doing it for over 10 years now. She's been in those kind of roles, but she still looks and is the right kind of age to be doing it. Plus, she's just great. I just love her. She's so funny. You know, she's so funny in so many roles I've seen her in. And she's just great, and she's got the name recognition value you need for this, and a bunch of stuff, okay? And I feel like Elastigirl is the, show stealer in a lot of ways, you know? And I feel like she'd need to be characterized better, because, you know, she was very much a secondary character to Bob in the first film. And they kind of overcompensated by making Bob a real secondary character in the sequel, but that's fine. I think Linda Cardellini can, no matter, you know, if they stuck very close to the original story or not, added more scenes for her, I think she'd flourish in the role either way. And I think she's just such a brilliant mother character these days that she'd just play this really, really well. Because they are, you know, it feels throughout the film like they are first and foremost an average Joe family. And secondly, they're superheroes, you know? That's kind of very important to the style of it. So I feel like casting them for those typical mom and dad roles is more important than casting them for the superhero roles. Violet is the same in a lot of ways, as in she's another very stereotypical character for that role, for the teenage daughter role, you know? She likes his boy at school, that's the biggest deal in the world to her. She just wants to get a date with him, she feels invisible. lol. And, you know, and I feel like that is what the whole family's like. It's such a, you know, they are very much stereotypical family first, you know, this American family. Now, for Violet, and it's difficult, okay, because, I want to cast Daphne King, okay? I recognize there might be a bit of a problem with this, because I've cast Josh Brolin and Cardellini. They're both, as far as I know, white. You know, full white people, okay? Daphne King is British Spanish born, and she does look a bit like that. She was able to play like this, I think she was like Mexican in Logan, you know? And I am kind of like, can she get away with them two being her parents? Because obviously the point of them, you know, it's kind of a big point in the film that they're not adopted, I feel. So you can't just make her adopted. But I do think she looks a lot like Violet and has, you know, the right style to play Violet. And she's 16 now, which is the right age to be playing Violet. I'd like to see her play Violet. I'm not entirely sure about the race thing. I didn't really think about that until now. But I'm kind of like, she doesn't, you know, she doesn't look very not white. We shouldn't get into this. And then finally completing the family, it's Dash. I know there's also Jack. We're not gonna cast Jack. He's a baby. We're not gonna. He's a baby. No, we're not gonna cast Jack. Dash is exactly the same. You know, he's another very stereotypical. For this young boy, there's a young American boy, this young strapping American boy. He's very typical. You know, he's brash, loud, annoying, argues with his older sister, idolizes his dad, looks up to him, likes to play catch with him. You know. But again, I'm going to cast someone who's not American. Roman Griffin Davis he just feels like he'd be great at that role, you know? Despite his breakout role in Jojo Rabbit not being typical or American in any way. I feel like he'd be very good. He'd flourish in this kind of brash young kid role, you know? And he's not like, I think Dash is meant to be 10, I'd guess? And Roman would be older than that, but he's still young enough. You know, there's enough of an age gap between him and Daphne King that I think they'd be fine. Plus, yeah, I just feel like he'd flourish in that kind of role, and he's already got leading roles, big leading Hollywood roles behind him at his age, which I feel helps when you're transferring into like proper big blockbusters like that, you know? After the family, there's other people around, like Mirage. That's Mirage. You never quite know how to feel about Mirage, do you? Yeah, she's not good, but she's not, like, actually evil in the end, is she? No, not really. She did, before she felt sympathy and helped them escape, help Syndrome kill how many other superheroes? I feel like it was 20 or 30, and she knew what was going on the whole time. Doesn't matter. She's evil, she's a bitch. It's fine. However, I feel like this is a role that would work really well for somebody like Gal Gadot. Anybody else feel that? I just kind of look at the role, how she acts, and I'm like, yeah, Gal Gadot would be really good at that. She'd be really good at that. She's this tall, beautiful woman. She plays that kind of organizational, business-like style very well, I feel. She comes off like that when she's in her alter ego in the Wonder Woman films and stuff like that. I think she'd be really good at that. Frozone, yeah. You want to talk about the real show stealer? Frozone has, what, like, 5 scenes, maybe, if even. He just nails it, though. And I mean, the where's my super suit? Oh, that's a great scene. He's so good. And I feel like the only way you can really get to that level of iconic status again in live action for him is to cast Jamie Foxx as Frozone. Yeah, what did you think I was going to say? Will Smith? No. I saw Hancock. No. I saw Suicide Squad. No. I won't cast Will Smith as a superhero. Jamie Foxx, though. Hell yeah. Oh, I did see Amazing Spider-Man 2. Rick Dicker is the secret agent who helps out the family, relocating them countless times. And he comes off as that kind of like slightly older guy, exasperated all the time. Every time you see him, he's just kind of like, let's relocate you again, Bob. I'd like to see Tommy Lee Jones do it. I just feel like he's got that style down through decades of working in that kind of like guy, whether he's a lead, whether he's a side role, anything. He's just so good at that style, you know? Edna Mode. Should be played by Linda Hunt. Do you need an explanation? You don't need an explanation. That one's pretty self-explanatory. If you don't know why, I mean, just go look up Linda Hunt, like, seriously. She is Edna Mode. She is Edna Mode. She didn't play her, but she could have. And she should have. And she should if they do it again. And finally, here comes the real out of the blue one, children. Syndrome. Okay? I want Cameron Monaghan to play Syndrome. Cameron Monaghan was, for all intents and purposes, the Joker on Gotham, okay? And while I gave up watching Gotham at some stage, can't remember quite how far through I got, but I watched a couple of seasons at least, I always felt like he was the highlight anytime he was there, okay? He's so insanely good at that role. And that kind of young Joker going, like, totally mad would, you know, translate very well to a slightly more threatening, more, like, adult superhero film friendly, not porn. But not as kiddie-ish a version of Syndrome as we saw in the original film. I feel like he'd do that so well. Like, Syndrome he's young, you know? He's young. Let me think. I don't know. He always just looks really young. He's still, like, got, like, freckles and he just, like, the pouty way he is. Like, he just comes off as young. And he was, like, a child when they stopped being superheroes. And then they had Violet, like, shortly after that, and she's, what, like, 14, 15? He's like 30. Let's say he's 30, okay? Let's guess and say he's 30. And he does, you know, he comes off like that. Cameron Monaghan would be brilliant at that. I think he'd be fantastic. That would really round this out to be, I feel, a more, you know, tilted towards adults than the original, but still, like, friendly enough that it's for everybody kind of version of The Incredibles. And I think it'd be fantastic. And that's all for this one, guys. Do vote down below which one of those fan casts you want to see next. And let me know in the comments as well other fan casts that you want to see. And I'll maybe put them on the shortlist for next fan cast time. Yes, thanks. Yes, good. Subscribe. Do it.